let's do a little bit on the weekend that was in the NFL because we had a lot of stuff to be decided. It started on Saturday, Chiefs-Raiders. Chiefs end up rolling on the Raiders. This could have had implications with the AFC seeding and the Bills and the Bengals and all that. Kind of NFL's purest form of chaos. Talking about coin flips for games, and now we know if the Chiefs and Bills play in the AFC Championship, it'll be at a neutral site. So that's kind of fun for sports fans and sports history. The first games since DeMar, so everything was kind of emotional and a little nutty this weekend. Chiefs rolled on the Raiders. Good team, bad team. That's how that goes. Saturday night, we had a win and in game for the AFC South. The Jaguars and the Titans. Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, who'd been playing good ball, against the Titans, who have been playing awful. They were losers of 6 straight coming into this game. Josh Dobbs, his second NFL start. This was a good game, and the Titans were in control for most of the game. One critical error at the end. Dobbs drops back to pass. Classic, the strip sack throwing forward that you're not sure about in the moment. They let them play on, which is smart. I think it's accurately a fumble as the hand's coming forward, the ball's already juggling around. And it was one of those plays that just felt like in slow motion. I'm currently watching it on the screen. Guy comes around the end, that just half second of quarterback where the Tom Bradys and those guys, they seemingly somehow know about that, and the ball gets out. It doesn't for Dobbs. Heart kind of sunk for him a little bit. This was a huge moment for him. 6th year in the league. This was his second start. A win and into the playoffs. You know how nuts that is? Like, sometimes we just hear that with sports, and we watch the game, and we're like, ugh. Yeah, all right. For him, that's like 6 years. 6 years of his life got put into this. And I mean, if you zoom out, it's 16 years because he's been playing quarterback since he was a kid. Tough. Jags fans, pretty cool. The environment was crazy. Duval. Did you ever watch The Good Place, Zach?
I watched, I think, the first 2 seasons.
Some good jokes in there.
Yeah.
Jaguars fans, Duval, all that. Looked like a rowdy stadium. The guy that did the national anthem before the game looked like the embodiment of Jacksonville. Paul Wayne Paul. We posted him. There were a lot of jokes in a lot of people's group chats.
Okay.
But Jacksonville wins. They're 9-8. The story from last year to this year, from going from Urban Meyer and what a disaster that was to Doug Peterson, and this year, pretty cool for Jacksonville. They're going to host the Chargers. I think they opened as underdogs, and I think they're currently favorites. We'll get to the Chargers in a minute, but I'm kind of on Jacksonville because I think that place is going to be nutty, and mostly I don't really believe in the Chargers head coach. So that was your Saturday. We enjoyed that on Saturday night. We were a little... Well, Zach, you had a show Saturday.
Yeah.
Or you had a show Friday. Excuse me.
Yeah, Friday.
We had the office holiday party that you... Big league. No, I
didn't like missing it.
I know.
Say that.
I was bummed you missed it despite the text messages I sent to you the next day. But yeah, it was good to enjoy that game Saturday night without other plans for myself. Sunday. Oh, my Broncos. A lot of games didn't matter. Buccaneers, Falcons, absolutely not. Thought it was interesting that Brady and the crew, they did their first drive. They scored a touchdown, and they liked that. I kind of like that. I dig that vibe. They lose to be 8-9 and winners of their division. Not that it matters, but they're hosting the Cowboys. Brady's never lost to the Cowboys. Very good sports. Very good sports there. And I thought it was weird that the Cowboys and Tom Brady are going to be the Monday night game.
Yeah.
NFL's got some stuff figured out. Tom Brady and the Cowboys, that's NFL porn.
They like to figure that out.
Just straight NFL porn. Bills Patriots in Buffalo. DeMar Hamlin, the opening kickoff gets returned. Pretty cool.
That was really cool.
Another thing where sports being reality TV can be pretty cool. Because, I think this game mattered to the Bills for all the coin toss, home field, all of that. It mattered because of Damar Hamlin. It mattered. Buffalo is as proud of an NFL town as you'll see. The Patriots, they were winning, get into the playoffs, so the game mattered for them. Also, think about who the Patriots have been for the last 20 years. Like, these teams, when they see the Patriots with a little bit of blood in the water, they get a little excited. The guy returns a second kickoff for a touchdown, and that was kind of like all right, this game is over. Nyheim Hines, credit to him. Shout out. Josh Allen makes a couple cool passes at the end that blows it out. Bills win. They will be the 2 seed. If they face the Kansas City Chiefs, it'll be at a neutral site. The Patriots, at the moment, were out, but if the Dolphins and Steelers lost, they would have still been in. So our eyes turn there. Patriots are also bad. Mac Jones is not good. That's going to be a popular topic in New England this offseason. So let's get there. Vikings, Bears, don't really care. Vikings rolled on the Bears. Bears, they care in a little bit because they end up getting the first pick in the draft. So that'll be fun talk in Chicago. Justin Fields, who's been really good for them, but he hasn't passed well at all. So are they going to trade out of that? Would they trade Justin Fields? Good press cycle coming up for the Chicago Bears. I mentioned they got the first pick because the Texans-Colts stink bowl was happening, and the Texans win it to lose the first pick at 3-13-1. Lovie Smith wins the game, gives his press conference about, it's important these guys play to win the game, gets fired a couple hours later. It's going to be an interesting asterisk in Houston Texans history if the number 1 pick becomes an all-time football player and whoever they take at number 2 is not. That's going to be a fun football wormhole to discuss. I think it kind of got overblown. If they went from first to 4th, I think you could get loud about that. There's not a consensus number 1. People think it's Bryce Young from Alabama. I think the other quarterbacks, Stroud, Levi's from Kentucky, Levi's, like the jeans. Even Richardson from Florida is going to become popular. I think the Texans are going to be fine, but it could look so bad in a couple years if you lost a meaningless game for no reason. Not meaningless. Going back to the Patriots. Jets, Dolphins. Yikes. Joe Flacco gets the start for the Jets against Skylar Thompson. We're in Miami. This game was 6-6 into the fourth quarter. Just so ugly every time they cut in an uglier play after an uglier play after an uglier play. The Dolphins, at the end, they get the field goal to go up 6-9. Nice. They get the emergency safety at the end of the game as the Jets do pitchy woo-woo. A fun scene in Miami. They're going to go to the playoffs, which not a lot of people... Well, you were either in on Tua or you weren't. He ends up getting hurt, and he's out for a chunk of their season. They still make it to the playoffs. Good for McDaniels. Their skill positions are really good. They're going to head to Buffalo. We're going to find out if Tua's going to be able to play. Be interesting if he is. If he's not, it won't be interesting. Either way, I mean, Buffalo was America's team before Damar Hamlin. They're America's team now, and they might be the best team in the NFL. So happy for Dolphins. Don't think that'll end up mattering. Panther Saints, no. Kindly, no thank you. Steelers end up being a little bit of a bummer. If the Jets could have done one thing, on offense or defense, and they somehow beat the Dolphins, the Steelers would have made the playoffs this year, and they're kind of fun. Pickett to Pickens is a really nice combination. They had some highlight reel plays. I did this last week, so I won't do the full thing again, but their skill positions. Najee Harris at running back is really good. Pickens, Deontay Johnson in the open field is as fun as it gets. Freiermuth, nothing in this game. The Steelers since TJ Watt has come back, they've been a different team. Minka Fitzpatrick, that defense still plays. Mike Tomlin, still every season in the NFL with a winning record. Impressive. 9-8, they beat Cleveland. They were still in a Deshaun Watson, kind of just trial and error part of their season. He didn't look great for them, kind of throughout, but he got his feet wet. They end up building for next season. We'll talk about them next year. Sorry, Pittsburgh. Sorry the Jets couldn't do anything for you, but God, some of the worst quarterback play in a season for that football team. Bengals, Ravens, I skipped. Bengals took care of their business and the coin flip nonsense and all that. Eagles, Giants, Zach, your G-men.
Yeah.
Big game. Big game.
I mean, the Giants were already in,
Daniel Jones doesn't play. Tyrod Taylor doesn't play.
Yeah.
They went to Davis Webb, who ends up having a couple highlights. Trucks over for his own touchdown, and he throws a touchdown to TD Kenny Galladay. A nice moment for the Talking Giants games. This game didn't matter for them. Philly was up 16-0 at the half. Giants covered, for those that view football games that way. And I don't know. They
scored some points.
They scored some points at the end to make it, I guess, a little close, but this game was never in question. This game was never really anything. This game was nothing.
A lot of my Eagles friends asking if the Giants were scared that the Giants would play their real guys, and so I was like, I don't think you're going to have to worry about
nothing.
This game. Yeah.
Gary Brightwell, 11 carries for 60 yards for the G.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of that. I'll say this. I know we're obviously biased with Talking Giants, and they've got a watch party going on. You going to that, Zach? You're a Giants guy.
When is that? On the first
Sunday
playoff game?
At 4:30, I think.
Sunday 4:30.
He's going to check.
I'd be
his
interested.
Schedule. He's going to check his schedule.
Could be fun.
I'll say this: the teams that were rested this week, and that sounds weird. The Bills and the Bengals, they didn't play basically because of DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah.
They looked fresh and good. Even the Titans, because they knew that this game was going to be winning in against Jacksonville, they rested a lot of their players last week.
Yeah.
And they looked a lot better for 3.9 quarters of the football game. So, hey, Giants rest some guys. Vikings kind of stink.
That rest in football is different than rest in
It's
baseball.
big.
Yeah.
God.
It's pretty big.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have to get tossed around for 4 hours?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good night for you.
Not getting tossed around or... Anyway.
Cardinals, Niners, no. Cardinals scored on this ridiculous trick play to start the game that the Niners had completely covered, but A.J. Green caught it, and then he just, pushed people off of him. And you were like, okay, is this going to be a weird mess of a game? It did not. It was not. 38-13, Niners roll. The game that did become this is really happening. The Cowboys, they lose to the Commanders. They score 6 points in that game. They're going to face Tom Brady on Monday night. Mike McCarthy isn't one of the most well-liked coaches. I mean, the Cowboys very much had a look of, we don't really care about this game. But people didn't expect this. So, hey, who knows what it means. Could mean nothing in a week if they go on and they beat Tom Brady. If they don't, the Cowboys, which often find a way to become a punching bag in the NFL, they set themselves up pretty good for that. Rams Seahawks, this game mattered. If the Seahawks won, they had a chance to be the final playoff team in. If they lost, the Packers-Lions game became a play-in team for both games. Rams, they put up a fight. They got ahead in this game. Seahawks come back. They have a chance to win it in the fourth. The kicker misses 40-something yard field goal off the post. You start doing the, They get the ball back in overtime. They kick the field goal. They win. So now the Packers are winning in. The Green Bay Packers, one of the most storied franchises in the sport, in Lambeau Field against the Detroit Lions, who, because of that result, this game didn't matter to them. Well, I shouldn't say didn't matter. There were no playoff implications for them. But Dan Campbell, who I think the Wake and Jake Bakers can confirm I've been a supporter of his from the start, the Lions went in with the mentality of if I'm going to hell, you're coming with me. Kind of what's the big devil that takes in Lord of the Rings, you shall not pass, when he whips his tail and he brings...
Oh, I don't know what his name is.
I don't know that demon's name.
Hold on.
Okay, Zach's going to look it. But the Lions, and this was a lot of the commentary on it, some people were wondering if they were even more dangerous to the Packers because the game didn't matter to them, right? Like low pressure.
Balrog?
Balrog.
Does that seem right?
Our guy.
Yeah.
Balrog snags Gandalf.
Yeah.
Should we make a vid of that? Feels like a good Kevin vid. He'd like that. I'll talk to him.
You're a Gandalf?
So the Packers would have been Gandalf.
Yeah.
And the Lions would have been Balrog.
We're going down, you're coming with me.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
And man, that's how they played. And if Dan Campbell wasn't their coach, I don't think they would have played that way. And they had a big second down trick play that helped them ice the clock towards the end of the game. And people were saying, if this was winning in for them, would they have done that? Because that was pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
Or would they have done something a little more conservative? We don't know, and we don't have to know. Everything seemed lined up. The Packers, Sunday Night Football, historic franchise, Aaron Rodgers. Instead, it goes the other way. The Lions win 20-16. Seahawks end up in the playoffs, and nobody had that coming into the season. Lions end up 9-8, feeling like they've got all the momentum in the world. It's a bummer they're not in the playoffs because, man, people would be excited for that. Sorry, Seattle. Enjoy it. But people definitely wanted the Lions. Zach, I only skipped one game.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit of a double for me. The Broncos, who I like, and have looked better since they fired one of the arguably worst coaches in NFL history, my guy Hackett. People were comparing him and Urban Meyer on the internet yesterday, so that was fun. They played the Chargers, who were locked into their seed. Like, that was it. They were going to play Jacksonville no matter what. And think about what we just talked about with rest and the teams that looked good and how important rest is in football. It's a very physical game. Staley played their starters the whole game. He said he wanted to keep the momentum going. Instead, Mike Williams, maybe their best wide receiver, I see a Keenan Allen, he gets hurt. The momentum you wanted to keep going, you lost to the Broncos, a laughingstock of this season, and you played your guys the whole time when they're smart enough to know that they were locked into their spot. I'm not a Brandon Staley fan as a head coach. I think what he did on Sunday was really dumb, and now a West Coast team is going to the East Coast on a short week, because they're going to be the Saturday game, to play in a really tough Jacksonville environment, because those people are crazy. They haven't had a lot of success there. I think the Chargers are going to lose. And I'm a very big Justin Herbert fan, so some of you might be saying, well, Jake, you really like Justin Herbert. I think there's a chance Staley's like holding that whole team back. So that's pretty mean in general, and I don't like doing that. But it's some honest sports thoughts. The playoffs are set. The Yoffs, if you will, Zach. Seattle plays San Francisco on Saturday. The Niners, longest win streak in the NFL. They look really good in San Francisco. Seahawks almost didn't get in. Giants and Vikings, Sunday, 4:30. I mean, Dayball and the boys?
How could you not like that?
How could you not like that? The other NFC matchup, Cowboys-Bucks, Monday night. Could be some fun NFC stuff while the Eagles got the bye. In the AFC, Dolphins-Bills, Sunday, 1 p.m. Yeah. I've been tough on the Dolphins all year. If Tua's back and they give the Bills a scare, I'll give a lot of credit to them. Tough to see that happening. Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday night. We'll see if Lamar Jackson's back. He hasn't played in a month, and he hasn't practiced. And I think there's a little bit of people aren't sure how much of it is injury and how much it is like the Ravens didn't extend him. Like, I think he's very much hurt, but I think there's some blurred lines there. Very interested to see the updates from that. As the Bengals, defending AFC champions, people forget that. They host Baltimore Sunday night. Those games are always fun. Chargers, Jaguars, and they just played. That's got to suck so much for linemen. You just ran into the same guy for 4 hours. See you next week. God. Especially if the guy's, like, better than you. Like, imagine if you're a guard.
You're just getting crushed the whole time.
And you're facing a defensive tackle who's just better than you.
Yeah.
And you've got to do that back-to-back weeks and just hope for the best on every play. That stinks. God, that stinks. Chiefs are the 1 seed. Another shocker there. So, yeah, we will enjoy the first weekend of playoff football. I think Justin Pennick's going to join us Wednesday.
Yeah. So
we can dive into the playoffs a little bit. And we'll probably have some weird baseball topic. Hopefully a trade or something cool happens. Otherwise, maybe we'll have to pull it out of our butts. But thank you, guys. Love you. Hope you had a good weekend. Watch everything on John Boy Media. Zach's hot. We love you.